Welcome everyone. This is the ordinary council meeting of the Devonport City Council on Monday 27 November 2023. Devonport City Council acknowledges Devonport City Council acknowledges and pays respect to the Palawa Pakana people as the traditional and original owners of La Tuida and continuing custodians of this land on which we gather. We also acknowledge and pay our respects to the Tasmanian Aboriginal elders past and present. Is that feedback okay? Or? All right, okay, so if it gets unbearable, push back a bit, yeah. All right, item 1, apologies. Apologies for the meeting were received from Councillor Ennis, Councillor Viney, Councillor Wilczynski and Councillor Jarman. Now, Councillor Jarman is in a teleconference with the Federal Health Minister and is expected to be here midway through the meeting. Councillor Wilczynski is attending a family emergency at the moment and hopes to get here during the course of the meeting. Item 2, declarations of interest. Any declarations of interest for the meeting?
Yes, Chair. I have a declare an interest in item 3.2.2 and I'll be staying in the room. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah. Madam Deputy Mayor, item 5.2 and 5.4. Declaring an interest. My brother's a member of the Devonport Football Club board.
Mm-hmm. Staying in the room?
Yes.
Yep. I have a declaration under 5.3 Sound and Light Show. I have a tender with Degree C myself, but as they're the only non-conforming tender, I will not be leaving the one. All right. Item 3 is procedural, confirmation of minutes. The recommendation is there. May I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Councillor Murphy and Councillor Murphy.
Thank you, Chair. It's all there for everyone to see, merely procedural.
Hollister. Councillor Hollister. Any further comment? Councillor to close, please.
Consider it closed.
Thank you. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried unanimously. 3.2.1, response to questions raised at prior meetings is nil. 3.2.2, questions or notice from the public. The recommendation is there. May I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Councillor Murphy, thank you. Councillor Martin, thank you. Councillor Murphy.
Again, merely procedural.
Thank you. Councillor Martin.
Merely procedural. Thank you. No further comment.
Any further comment? Councillor Murphy to close.
Consider it closed.
Thank you. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried unanimously. Item 3.2.3, questions without notice from the public. Just a note, we've got a really full house tonight, so thanks everyone for turning up. Just a reminder that if you do have a question, you need to state your name and address. All right, who'd like to go first? All right. Just name and address, thanks.
Thank you, Mayor. Shane Warren, Unit 2, 134 North Minton Street, Devonport. I recently read a Facebook post on this council's Facebook site which says, and I quote, "We are thrilled to announce that Devonport's new highball stadium will be located along the eastern side of the Devonport Oval." It goes on to say it will include a minimum of 4 internal netball basketball courts, state-of-the-art facilities for players and umpires, fully equipped canteen, welcoming reception area and versatile function room and bar. However, the Devonport Sports Infrastructure Master Plan 2035, which Council adopted on December 20th, 2021, specifically identifies as high priorities the existing Devonport Rec Centre site in Forbes Street for improvements and the Maidstone Park facility at Sprayton for a new multi-use indoor stadium at the existing Devonport Netball Centre. Now note, we've noticed that development like this proposed at the Devonport Oval on the master plan. So the question I have, Mayor, is which article is correct and which one should I believe? The contents of the adopted master plan dated 20th of December 2021 or the contents of the council Facebook site?
Thanks for that question, Mr. Warren.
Thank you.
Yes, through you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Probably back about June, council made a decision to locate the stadium down at Devonport Oval to combine both a facility that suits the netball and the basketball. So there'll be some council reports on that would have that background information that are available on the website.
Question 2. Why is this contrary to the actual sport infrastructure master plan, which was adopted only not even 2 years ago? Which specifically identifies the recreation areas of Devonport and the specific improvements of drainage.
Thanks, sorry.
Mr. Skirving.
Yeah, Mr. Skirving, if you'd be able to address that one for us, thanks.
Certainly through you, Mayor. So the original master plan work that was done with working group and the sporting codes in Devonport identified the gaps and priorities for funding around forecast growth in sports and the priorities in terms of existing facility provision. There were a range of projects, potential projects identified in the master plan document. Since that time, the priority projects certainly been the nature of the facilities at Forbes Street as being those that are most misaligned with current community demand and also some of the oldest facilities the council have. The council's been working with both the key user groups associated with the basketball facility and also Devon Netball, which was one of the other high priority codes notified on a co-location project. Certainly one of the principles of the master plan document was seeking opportunities to co-locate and maximise council's investment in new facilities and also maximise their utilisation. Through that process and working through with the codes, it's identified that the Forbes Street site was not sufficiently sized to accommodate a co-location project and to also accommodate potential future growth in those codes. Working through with council, it's been determined that Devonport Oval Precinct was the preferred from 4 candidate sites that were considered.
Thank you. Mr. Warren, you mentioned you live in North Fenton.
Correct.
Street. Okay. Wild guess. Are you happy with that answer, or you would like to perhaps meet with some council staff?
Yes.
Yes. No. I think that's appropriate because you've obviously got skin in the game, being so close to it. If we could take your question on notice and provide a response in writing, but more importantly, set up a appointment with you, maybe if I can offer the Mayor's time or the appropriate staff member, would that be acceptable at this point?
Yes.
No worries. Thank you. Any other questions? Yep. No.
Hey people, good to see you. My name is Vicky Ward. I live at 3 Woodland Grove, Tuggerah, 7310, just in case you didn't know your own postcode. I sent 4 questions to council prior to this meeting. The first question wasn't even considered at all, and I'll read the question so that you understand why the answer didn't apply. What is the council going to do to ensure that these waterways are maintained? Now, the waterways I'm talking about were the waterways that run along Tuggerah Road. What steps are being taken to ensure that drainage is repaired on Tuggerah Road? In a recent email to council, I asked about the drainage areas on Tuggerah Road near number 42. Reply from council on the 15th of the 10th. In reply, I received an email from Justin Wild on the 26th of the 10th, 23. We are able to chat on the 16th of the 11th, and he said the owner of the property had asked the hot mix people to stack the piles of dirt along the side of the road. They are still there. The drainage area has been cleared right next to the driveway. There are trees cut down left of the drain, and the dirt and etc. that's building up prevents proper water movement along that drain. Justin did not give me an indication of what solution he was working towards. The council's response to the other 3 questions fit the answer that's on here, but there is no answer for that question. Council's response was, council's environmental strategy identifies key biodiversity issues, which council is actively pursuing, such as bushland conservation and vegetation intensive development. At the August 23 council meeting, a report was included detailing a 5-year status, which I've read. The council administered a subdivision development in accordance, blah, blah, that answered one of the other questions, and the council planning scheme, which answered another question. And as such, the requirements detailed for the zone and the overlays that apply to private land. Natural values reports are provided as part of the application process. Now, that answered my questions 2, 3 and 4. It did answer nothing about the drainage along that road, not a thing. So I'm wondering what the council is actually going to do to fix that drainage. Apart from anything, the drain passes through a variety of properties, and not just the people who put the drain holes filled, but other properties that live up the hill from there and across the road from there. And I'm wondering what the council's going to do to ensure that those things are actually fixed.
Thank you very much for that question, Ms. Ward.
Yes, through you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Ms. Ward's right, the response is broad. We do manage those subdivisions in accordance with the guidelines and the regulations.
This is not a subdivision, this is Tuggerah Road.
I appreciate seeking some further information. We'll provide some, we'll follow that up in writing.
So you're going to chase that?
Specific,
yes.
Yeah, some further detail.
That'd be awesome.
Thanks
because what's
much.
actually happening is I'm concerned about the houses across the road.
Yep.
I'm concerned about the houses further down the walkway. Also, I'm concerned about the walkway itself, because the new walkway you've put in is an awesome idea, but if this drainage isn't fixed, then it might impact on that as well, and that's council money spent and wasted.
Thanks, Ms. Ward. Really appreciate that. Any other questions from the gallery?
My name's Sarah Kersey, 4 Ronald Street, Devonport. I have a question on notice. I'd like to ask the council for some more detail on the plans they have for our public open spaces, or POS. In particular, the area around the Vietnam Memorial. I understand that a budget of $220,000 has been allocated for irrigation, and that a smart weather station and soil monitoring system is being installed. I would like to question if the council has considered restoring native vegetation in preference to even more mowed grass areas requiring irrigation and high maintenance cost and expensive technology to monitor it. I would like to know if the council has done a cost-benefit analysis to compare your current plans with the cost of planting and maintaining native plants. Is the cost of your plan the best way to use funds during a cost of living crisis? So the response was to say really that was what your plan was, according to the open spaces plan. But I'd like to ask the council more detail on that, please. Where specifically the area between the Vietnam Memorial and the Bluff you refer to as being the Victoria Parade. However, the ecosystem is a different section of land across. It's Bass Strait rather than the estuary. Surely it doesn't have to have the same treatment as the Victoria Parade. And isn't it a perfectly reasonable place to start planting, regenerating some native species, so that we don't have to go outside the city area to see that, well, actually the council cares about restoring native species, especially because you don't require irrigation, and it doesn't require so much mowing and maintenance, and surely we've got enough open spaces and mowed grass to maintain for things like car. If this is the amount of money, $220,000 is being spent on irrigation, just for one car show, perhaps, or whatever else. There's plenty of other places, open spaces along the foreshore. That was my point, which I didn't feel like it was being sort of addressed, really.
Okay.
Thanks. And then my second question was that I understand that 280,000 is budgeted to manage all of our bushland. This seems very little when we know that some of the greatest challenges that regional communities like ours are facing are loss of biodiversity, the climate crisis, and severe weather events. Devonport has reserves of high conservation value and are under enormous pressure from just, for example, encroaching housing development, weeds, cats and dogs, vandalism and unauthorised clearing. I understand that the Council is in a good fiscal position. In light of these challenges, will Council allocate extra funding to employ more Council officers with a natural resources background to monitor, protect and enhance our waterways and priority vegetation? And the response was simply from the Council that they have no immediate plans to increase resources in the NRM area, and however, service levels and budget allocations reviewed annually as part of the budget deliberations. But you still had 220,000 to spend on irrigation.
So
I feel like there's something a bit wrong in managing our money. Thank you.
really appreciate you bringing those thoughts forward, Ms. Cozy. Just as you can notice, we'll take the question on notice and provide a...
Probably answer.
Oh, you can answer it now. Sorry, we can answer it now.
Yeah, just a couple of comments, Madam Deputy Mayor, to expand on what's written in the written response. So in regard to that irrigation, that's something that Council's been lobbied for quite a few years now. It's been in our Forward Works program, in our 10-year program for 3 or 4 years at least.
Why?
And on that basis, Council considered it was a priority. It felt that it was appropriate to complete the grassed area from the bluff back through to the headland. If you just let me finish.
Why is that appropriate?
So it was considered a priority. It's used for, like you've pointed out, it's used for events such as the New Year's Eve event, the motor show. The Council weighed up the feedback that was received and on that basis decided it was a worthwhile project, and it's been included in this year's budget, and we're proceeding with the works.
But would there be any chance of reconsidering this decision that's been made by who and when and what community response? Where did you get this community idea that this is what the community wanted? I mean, where did it all come? How did it start? Where did it come from? Is there any chance of changing this plan?
Thanks. When that happens every year during the process.
Yes, so through you, Madam Deputy Mayor. So Council does a budget consultation process every year, a public consultation process, and through that it was where the submissions were received in support of that irrigation, and it was through that the Council of the day decided to approve the project. So we'll provide our response on that.
Yeah, just if I can just make an overarching comment. I hear what you're saying. I think probably when we get back, we're almost at Christmas. As soon as we get back, we start budget planning and community discussions regarding the following year's budget. So maybe that would be a good time to sort of, feed through what you're saying at that point. But it was based on community. The budget, we spent a lot of time picking up community feedback and building the budget on the basis of that community feedback. So, at this point, to ignore it completely is probably not council policy. But we can come back to you on the issues you've raised early next year if you like and have a bit more of a discussion. All right. Any more questions without notice from the public?
Petra Wilden, 17 Forest Heights Drive in Tuggerah. My questions weren't answered at all. probably there were quite a few, I guess. So I'm happy to have those answered for next meeting then. And if I can meet with some people, I'm happy to do that as well, but I would like to have them answered as well, please. So yeah, I can't respond to those, but I do like to respond to Sue Ward's question about the big gum trees that have been cut down at a Don River railway station. You mentioned that a report was made of an arborist saying that they were dangerous, and I would like to see that report because we looked at the trees and when they were cut down didn't seem any rot or anything in there. And I just want to also still understand how can that happen? Why weren't you asked or told that they wanted to cut it down, or why did the council not know? And all of a sudden, all these significant trees, they were of a big girth, are cut down, and the council didn't even know that that happened, even though you're the owner of the ground. So I would like to see that report because I'm really curious to see what this person would have said, because honestly, I'm not very happy. I don't really believe that they were a danger. So,
Okay, so are you okay if we take your question on notice and gather some information and provide a written response?
yeah,
Great. Many thanks. All right, lovely. Thanks so much. Any other questions from the gallery? Okay, great. Thank you very much, everyone. Item 3.3, question or notice from councillors. At the time of compilation of the agenda, no questions have been received from councillors. Item 3.4, notice of motion is nil. Item 4, planning authority matters. There are no items in this agenda to be considered by council in its capacity as planning authority this evening. So moving on to item 5, reports. 5.1, tender reports, supply and delivery, road maintenance truck. The recommendation is there. May I have a move, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Councillor Moore and Councillor Murphy. Councillor Moore.
Yeah, happy to support this recommendation. A new supply and delivery truck. I know the old one is only 11 years old, but I believe that it is about $60,000 under the budgeted amount, plus we'll get some trade-in for the old one, so I'm happy to support this update to our assets.
Thank you very much. Councillor Murphy.
Yeah, I think Councillor Moore summed it up, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. Any further comment?
Through you, Chair, just a refresher, the budget allocation of 450,000 was plus trading in its value. That is, wasn't inclusive of trade, was it?
Josh.
Sorry, Josh, thanks.
My series of 450,000 is a gross amount and then a trade amount.
So that'll be around a bit of a saving for the budget to around about 110. That's not. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comment? Councillor Moore to close, please.
Consider it closed.
Councillor one. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Yeah, carried unanimously. 5.2, tender report contract for the Devonport Oval LED scoreboard. The recommendation is there. May I have a mover, please? Councillor Hollister, sorry.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Councillor Murphy. Councillor Hollister.
For as long as I can remember, the screens at Football Oval have been very expensive and expensive to repair, and I don't think at the moment it's any different. So I support the recommendation. I think it's something we provide standard for football and cricket and other uses. So I think it's something we require, and
Thank you. Councillor Murphy.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. I just hope that there is an opportunity for one of the other sporting codes who doesn't have a scoreboard, has the opportunity, because obviously the scoreboard isn't still in working order, probably not to the standard that is expected from the cohort that use it. That there may be the potential that it isn't just thrown away, because there are other sporting codes. I know one particular code that still uses a piece of PVC pipe with some vinyl numbers, and someone has to stand there and they don't have a scoreboard. So if that opportunity exists, the other question I have with respect to this is the location. Is it going in the existing location, or is it going in an alternative location?
Existing? I'm advised existing.
Existing location.
Thanks, Councillor Murphy. Councillor Holster, close. Sorry. Sorry. So sorry. Councillor Martin.
It's noted in there the current scoreboard spare parts are no longer available. They've always been a bit costly. Has this been taken into consideration for the new scoreboard, that is access to spare parts for the future? Whatever that may be.
Through you, Deputy Mayor, if I understand your question, Councillor Martin, you're asking if the current scoreboard could be used as spare parts for the new scoreboard?
No, I'm asking about the new scoreboard that we're getting, access to spare parts for in the future. Because the old scoreboard, the reason why we're getting rid of it basically is because it's been faulty, and the access to spare parts for that have been very delayed and long, and has been out of operation on several occasions. So I'm asking, when we've examined the tender for the new scoreboard, that there will be access, easy access, backup of spare parts should anything go wrong with the new one.
Yes, through you, Mayor. The current scoreboard has been in operation for more than a decade, and technology has changed substantially in that period of time. Through the tender process, we have expected a life of 10 years plus for the new scoreboard as well, so confident that spare parts will be available for that period of time.
Right, thank you. I just wanted to make sure that we've taken that risk on board, because it is important, as Councillor Holster has pointed out, that cricket, Australian rules football, we've had community movie nights out there as well, and the athletic carnivals, the annual ones we have, and bike events. So it is important. Thank you.
Any further comments? Good. Councillor Holster, close, please.
Consider it closed.
Thank you. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried unanimously. Right, 5.3 Sound and Light Show tender report. Recommendation is there.
So
Can I move
moved.
it, please? Thank you, Councillor Murphy. Seconder.
Second.
Thanks, Councillor Moore. Councillor Murphy.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Chair. This one has been on Council's radar for some period of time. It's finally, it's good finally to see this now become a reality. It has been very much part of the waterfront redevelopment. From its original inception, it was quite exciting when Mandy Lights presented to us a number of years ago. And I think what this will actually do for that waterfront precinct will be something unique. I think it will generate some visitation. I'm not 100% convinced that people come here just to see that, and because I think we've got so many other things to offer. However, it just adds another string to the bow with respect to something unique, and I think the opportunities that it provides, which is exciting on my behalf, for council to have control over the content, especially with respect to our opportunity to have Indigenous content displayed in the city. So I think this is a significant opportunity. It is going to be something unique, and I encourage my fellow councillors to support the recommendation.
Thank you very much. Councillor Moore.
I'm happy to support this recommendation. I I think it fits within our strategic plan to increase our tourism. I concur with the report. There is not a lot to do at the moment at Devonport at night time, especially in the cold months. So I think that this will actually be another reason for people to stay an extra night. Come, stay, do what they need to do, but also to stay an extra night to catch the sound and light show. I do wonder, and I guess it's a question through you, Mayor, is there any visuals or anything we can show people? I've had lots of community people asking, what's it going to look like? What does it look like? I see it's going to be completed end of March-ish. Do we have any, or have I missed it? Do we have some information or pamphlets or something where we can actually show people what's happening?
Through you, Madam Deputy Mayor, yes. So we have workshopped the change of location with council previously. Once the narration and the accompanying audio has been resolved with the design team, and that's been involving some local Tasmanian Aboriginal artists locally and through our partnership with Rant Arts, we certainly will be sharing that with council. We do also want to balance, I think, transparent community information with being able to reveal the final show once it's completed, but certainly look forward to sharing some more detail with council in the coming months. But I think we would like to keep the wraps on the final show in terms of the prior video that we had produced that basically showed the whole content until we actually complete the project.
Excellent. So no sneak peek. Any further comments? No.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Oh, 2 strikes. So sorry.
I think this is a great opportunity to showcase Devonport. It certainly has evolved from the Living City consultation we had 2018-2019, and it shows that the Living City continues on to evolve and provides a platform and attraction for business and for visitation to the area. And of course that will just continue on in years to come in attracting business here as well. So I think that's another additive to the waterfront precinct, Haynes Park. Thank you.
So, any further comments? Councillor Murphy to close, please.
Consider it closed.
Thank you. All in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried unanimously. Uh, 5.4 tender report, Devonport Stadium sub-consultants. Recommendation is there. Have a mover, please.
Move for discussion.
I'll second that and foreshadow a subsequent motion.
All right, I'm just going to confer with the General Manager and just get my head around procedure for this one. So, what are we doing?
Yes, that's okay. Just
Okay.
Peter now speaks, and Lee speaks. He's
Right.
just foreshadow that he will, if it's lost, he'll report a different motion.
All right, apologies, just had to check on what I'm doing. Councillor Hollister, if you'd like to speak to the motion.
I think it's interesting that I believe shortly we're going to actually get some plans and stuff from this, or further plans. I think it's hard that we still need to get some funding and so forth. I think it's only, I believe, about 10 days or so before we do get some more drawings and things like that, but I think we need to push ahead and see where it goes.
Sorry, Councillor Murphy. Yep.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Chair. The reason why I made the statement I did, I foreshadow an alternative motion with this is, as Councillor Hollister has alluded to, in conversation with the General Manager, we have been advised that Peddlethorpe have done a significant amount of work with respect to some design elements of what they're proposing. At this particular point in time, I would be very interested to have a look at that, take into consideration the current political environment that we're in. We do have a a grant commitment there from the federal government for $22 million. However, a percentage of that $22 million will be absorbed by architects and consultants. The Sporting Infrastructure Master Plan did identify that a high ball stadium was required as the priority for Devonport. With that, having done some research on other facilities that have been constructed of very similar nature around the state, and I think the latest one was constructed at Pembroke at Sorrel, and having had conversations with the program director of that particular program, they delivered a 3-court stadium for $7.5 million. The Sporting Infrastructure Master Plan identified that Devonport's requirement and need to meet future growth and existing need was a 4-court stadium. With a budget allocation of $22 million towards a 4-court stadium, the council also then, by majority, made the decision to pursue being ambitious, if you like, and looking at a show court to accompany that. Hence, we engaged Peddlethorpe. But for me to be able to then commit potentially another $600,000 in consultancy fees, even though it is broken up into 2 parts, there is part 1 and part 2. I'm just sceptical with respect to the recommended consulting, even though it may be cheap in market prices at particularly this point in time, but the differential between a basic 4-court stadium consultancy fee for basically a box, 4 courts is in a large area, of $214,500. Then for part 2, which would be a 2,000 seat show court stadium, standalone building, for that additional, another $182,000, it doesn't add up to me. The fact that one is only $214,000, the more complex one, from an engineering standpoint, is not as expensive, and it's a standalone building. I also would like to see what we have actually, Peddlethorpe have come up with from a design stage before we commit to going to that next stage. I think it would be prudent for council to have that information prior to making that decision. I think that would be the expectation from the community, is that we would want to be knowing. I understand that Peddlethorpe have been wanting this for quite some period of time, and I understand that that's what they need to progress. But I also think it's prudent that as elected members of council that we're aware of what we're actually committing to. Because there are other examples where architects have been involved, and I've been part of this process, and the latest one that I can attribute this comment to is the waterfront park. I can remember workshop conversations with the architects, and the architects were challenged at those workshops with respect to being able to deliver what they were proposing for the budget allocation that we had. And it was quite evident that once we went through the tender process, there was a disparity of nearly $4 million. So there were design elements that we took to the community that we had to remove out of that waterfront park. So I don't want to get caught into that trap again. So I'd rather have a very clear understanding of what we're actually committing to. So as an alternative motion, I would like to propose, if the mover will support it, that we defer the decision on the recommendation until after we have consulted at a workshop with what is being proposed.
Thanks, Councillor Murphy.
Just to clarify there, Madam Deputy Mayor, Councillor Murphy foreshadowed that should the motion be lost, he would move an alternative motion. However, he may have been indicating there that he was moving a procedural motion that the matter be deferred. So you may just want to ask him to clarify, is he moving a procedural motion, or is he foreshadowing that if this is lost, he'll move an alternative?
Oh, which is it, Councillor Murphy?
Yeah, no, I'll move a procedural motion, Madam Deputy Mayor, that we defer this agenda item until such stage as it's been workshopped by council.
Second.
Okay, yep, thank you.
So now you either accept that or refuse it. And if you accept it,
All right, so
there's no debate.
Question, how far are we away with the plans and stuff that they've put forward at this stage?
Yes, there's no debate on a procedural motion. Madam Deputy Mayor, so there's been a procedural motion, it's been seconded, you make the choice whether you accept it. If you accept it, you must put it to a vote.
without discussion.
Without discussion.
Right, okay. So I can't say it's a couple of weeks. Yeah, I'll accept it and put it to a vote. So, is everyone clear on what we're voting for? A delay until we've received the Peddlethorpe drawings? Yep.
Until it's been workshopped by council.
So the procedural motion, sorry, is just that the matter be deferred.
Okay,
That is the
Great.
motion that
Yep.
you'll be voting on.
lovely. Okay, so everyone's clear. Procedural motion is that the matter be deferred. We will know what the tipping point is for that. And then we're just all in favour, is that right? Yeah, sorry, I'm just getting my head around the process. All in favour?
Aye.
Yeah. Against? All right, carried unanimously. Thank you. Right, item 6, information. Workshops and briefing sessions held since the last council meeting. Recommendation is there. May I have a mover, please?
So move.
Thanks, Councillor Murphy. Thank you, Councillor Murphy.
It's all there. There's been a bit going on. It's interesting. The Bass Strait offshore wind region overview was quite interesting. A lot of information from that workshop.
That was excellent. Councillor Martin.
Nothing further to add, thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments? Councillor Murphy to close.
Consider it closed.
Thank you. All in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried unanimously. Alright, Cradle Coast, item 6.2, Cradle Coast Waste Management Group Annual Report. Recommendation is there. May I have the mover, please? Councillor Hollister and second, Councillor Murphy. Councillor Hollister.
It's all in the report, nothing further to add.
Thank you very much. Councillor Murphy.
It is, yes, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, there is quite a lot in the report. It is worth reading. It's exciting that we're working towards the implementation of FOGO. So there's some challenges there. There's also some significant challenges with respect to dealing with the state government levy, waste levy, so imposed on local government. So look, they're doing a great job. It's when you talk about shared services, this is probably a good example of one. So I'd commend people to read the report.
Thank you. Any further comments?
Thank you, Mayor.
Councillor Martin.
Chair, I just want to reinforce from the report as well that the need for the community and school engagement, especially around food organics and garden organics and rethink waste reduction, which is very important moving forward in the world that we have. And I think that the report certainly outlines that and the need for it. So I just want to reinforce that for the community. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Any further comments? Councillor Hollister to close, please.
Consider it closed.
Thank you. All in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried unanimously. Alright, 6.3, Mayor's Monthly Report. Meeting with the Health Minister's really up to its 45th minute, so she must be doing well there. The recommendation is there. Can I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Thanks, Councillor
Second.
Moore. Second. Thank you, Councillor. Thank you, Councillor Murphy. Councillor Moore.
Once again, the Mayor has
Oh, here she is.
multiple,
Right on time.
once again, the Mayor has multiple things on every single day, and she has kept very busy. I did have a question. Actually, no, I'm okay, that's fine.
All right. Any further comments?
The Mayor is definitely keeping up appearances.
Councillor Hollister.
Just that I attended the Jobs Forum in Devonport, and I believe there was twice as much activity as the previous one, and I think it's well worth the exercise, and maybe in the future we should even probably extend it to more of a citywide thing than was in the past. The first two have been basically East Devonport concentric. It was very well attended, and I think the success of it was very good.
Excellent, thank you. Any further comments?
I do have a question if I could, and since thank you, Mayor, for joining us. Through to Matt, you met with Drew Freeman, General Manager of Tassie Brain Smith from Kinetic. Any discussion around the ferry pontoon in that meeting?
Yes. So they certainly did speak to us about the pontoon. They are not interested in retaining ownership of that. So they're probably going to have to take it out of the water or where it is. It's probably not in a good spot anyway. So that was probably the only thing that we talked about with that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry for being so late and tardy. Hello, everybody.
Would you like to add any further comments to your report before we swap desks?
No, thank you, Deputy Mayor.
All right. Any further comments? All right. Councillor Moore to close.
No, consider it closed.
Thank you. All in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried unanimously. Now hand back to.
Well, I can run it from here.
You sure?
You start.
You sure? No, I think you've got to come up here.
Oh,
Thank you.
Oh dear. Sorry. Forgive us.
To leave so much mess.
Change your chair.
All right.
And just thank you to my wonderful Deputy Mayor for taking over the chair tonight, and forgive me for not being here, but it was kind of important for our area. Do you want that as well, Steve? Sorry. Lovely. So if we just get to, so that's 6.3, so we're up to 6.4, General Manager's Report. Do I have a mover of the recommendation here, please? Thank you, Councillor Hollister, and Councillor Murphy, thank you. Councillor Hollister.
General Manager's been just as busy as the Mayor, so there's been a lot of meetings and discussions and so forth. Anything interesting come out of the Craven Coast General Manager's meeting? As in resource sharing?
It's a long time ago, through you, Mayor. No, some discussion around the future local government review and what that, I think the meeting was actually prior to the final report being released. So some discussion around what may or may not have been in it, but we're aware of that now. So
I think it was interesting at this morning's board committee meeting that was brought up about resource sharing, and we're probably that far ahead of most of our surrounding councils. They don't seem to want to share resources, and I think a good example was brought forward that Darwin Waste Management is a perfectly good example of the resource sharing of the four councils. So it's probably a good example to use in the future when we discuss those things with our surrounding councils. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Murphy.
Yes, as Councillor Hollister has stated, the General Manager is very busy. I probably would ask, is it possible through our Teams network that the councillors are given, instead of waiting for our council agenda to come out, whether there's bit of a brief summary or an overview with some of these meetings provided to the rest of the council. Is that going to be possible? Is that possible to do that?
At a workshop like this, perhaps?
Yeah, I can take that on notice, Mayor.
Thank you. Happy with that, Councillor Murphy?
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments? Councillor Moore.
Yeah, just want to say well done to the team for the local government conference here at Paranaple. It was an excellent event. Just a question, is there any discussion of not going straight back to Hobart next year?
Through you, Mayor, it was actually, that point was raised with the CEO of Legat, but he was non-committal.
Thank you. Any further comment? Councillor Hollister, the close, please.
Consider it closed.
Thank you. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? So carried unanimously. Thank you. 6.5 is the monthly operational report. If I could have a mover, please.
So moved.
Councillor Murphy, thank you. And a seconder.
Second.
Councillor Martin, thank you. Councillor Murphy.
As per usual on a monthly basis, an extremely in-depth report, and would commend people if they don't receive enough information from this report, head to our website because it is extremely detailed.
Thank you. Councillor Martin.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, congratulations to all the officers in regards to populating that report. I noticed item 1.5, animal control, there's been an increase in dog attacking persons or animals with that. Do we have any information in regards to any of the victims and that they're okay, so to speak?
Thank you, Ms Larson.
Through you, Mayor, we follow up on all the reports that any dog attacks that are reported to council, and we haven't had any severe significant injuries in the last month. So to answer the question, yes, the people that have been on the bad side of those dog attacks are okay physically. Yeah, that's.
Item 6.1, I know there's been 14 new hires in infrastructure works, IT and finance. Was that new positions or they're filling vacancies?
Item 6.5, wasn't it?
1.
6.1, sorry.
Yes, through you,
Thanks, Mr.
Mayor.
Griffiths.
That's correct. Councillor Martin, filling vacancies.
Filling vacancies, thank you. And item 6.5, I note that the parking fines are up by 77% in this time. It's about $159,000, which seems to be a lot. I just make mention of that. And it's great to see the multi-storey car park usage is also up. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments? Councillor Moore.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment, it's great to see under 3.4, the natural resource management, both the biodiversity with the bird count, but actually the Kelsey Tier Bio Blitz was so well run. I was trying to find the right words. It was an excellent event that really did showcase our biodiversity and how to take care of it.
Certainly did. Thank you. Further comments? No, I certainly would just love to point out the East Devonport Jobs Forum certainly went very, very well this year again, and thank you to all the wonderful organisations that were part of that. It just seems to be going from strength to strength, so hopefully it becomes an annual event. And congratulations, Councillor Hollister, for suggesting a senior stance. What a resounding success that was. What a lovely night it was. I think you had a bit of a turn on the dance floor almost every dance. You did very well. But it was just a lovely feel to that. And certainly they've been asking if we can consider doing that on a regular basis. So that's wonderful. So well done for suggesting it, and well done to the staff for organising it. And we're certainly looking at a lot of events coming up. So the staff are going to be very busy over the Christmas season. So thank you. If we could have Councillor Murphy to close, please.
Consider it closed.
Thank you. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? So carried unanimously. Thank you. We're moving into closed session.
Second.
Thank you, Councillor Martin and Murphy. All those in favour? Against? So carried. Thank you. Thank you to the public gallery for being here, and I do apologise for not being here. Thank you for that. And we will move into closed session very soon.